We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It's episode number 77, and of course with me are my two good friends and tremendous co-hosts, John Tracy and Steve Murray. I'm Matt Craig. John, how you doing, man? What's going on?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
I'm doing all right. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm recovered from last week, I think. So
Did you have the throat operation? You got all that?
I drank a lot of water.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. That's for sure.
Sound tremendous.
And then I took weird things, and that seemed to cure it too.
Really?
We can't scientifically prove that.
Knowing that we didn't see you take those weird things, I'm going to take your word for it. So there you go.
That's not what they do in the congressional hearings.
That's exactly. So here we are, guys. 77. My God, we got 23 episodes to go before we hit the magic 100. Which, speaking of, that's going to be down. Obviously, that's going to be way down the road. Well, we have something special planned. Spoiler.
We got plans.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but 100th episode. Just watch for that. But as always, we go through who wore, number 77 in the city of Philadelphia, and hodgepodge of a list here. We found most of them, actually, a good fair number of them were in the Flyers organization. Paul Coffey, for one. We got him on I don't want to say on a rental, because I think he played like maybe a couple seasons, right?
He was here, I think, two seasons.
Yeah, 2 seasons, yeah. And clearly on the end of his career when he came here, obviously we got him in the 97 Cup run. I remember that. But yeah, and then we also had...
He absolutely looked great in Flyer Orange, though.
He did.
What a player.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the best. I don't think he was paired with Desjardins, though. I don't think he was paired with him.
No. They had him playing on the second pair. I don't remember who he would have been with, but he was
44 rings a bell.
Nienema, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that would.
Carl Dykhouse, maybe.
That's another one. That's another one.
That's right. It was Desjardins and Terran. Now that I think
about it. Yeah. I would say it was probably more Dykhouse than Nienema.
Probably.
Yeah,
he wasn't Edmonton Paul Coffey while he was here, but he was still absolutely a serviceable defenseman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Hell of a passer.
Stick on the second pair. I'm good with that. Chris Gratton was only here for apparently 1 year. 99.
It was 2.
It seems like he was here 105 years. That's the thing that blows my mind.
He was a weird player.
Oh yeah,
he really was, because you couldn't really fit him anywhere.
The biggest problem with Chris Gratton is we already saw Eric Lindros, so it's really hard to impress us of big guys that can do multiple things, and he didn't do many of them well, so it wasn't.
That's true. I remember there was a lot of hype with him because he was 6'4", 230 something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive and all, but it's like when you're not scoring that many goals and you're on the minus side of things, you kind of,
We're a tough town for 6'4", 230. We got Keith Primo and Eric Lindros. If you can't hack it like those two dudes, we're not impressed.
Gratton was here and gone before Primo arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Gratton was supposed to form, the Twin Towers with Lindros down the middle.
Yes,
and that was Clark's thing, is we needed big center icemen to be able to compete with the Jersey Devils and their big defensemen.
Yep.
I think Gratton, the year before he came here, probably scored, I think, 25 goals or something like that.
He was upward close to 30, definitely.
So they were thinking hopefully he was going to trend higher.
He did not.
But Matt's point was spot on. You couldn't fit him anywhere.
Yeah. It was weird. It was literally like, okay, you could, if you put him in second line, that seems to be the right spot, but he bounced between top and third, and it was like, okay, do you put him on the power play? Do you not? And it's like, the skill set, just was like square peg in a round hole there, that kind of a deal.
And he ended up having a longer career than I thought he had.
Mm-hmm.
It really was shocking when we looked at it. Yeah, exactly.
He played 1,000 games, I think, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Right, yeah.
That's remarkable for a
1,092 games. Yeah, it was almost 1,100 games for his career. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But 568 points. So there you go. I mean, he had all of that talent, but yet didn't show up on the score sheet. It was kind of weird. Adam Oates, the less said about him, the better.
Yeah, but
He was
career-wise,
only here for 2 weeks.
yeah,
You know?
but career-wise, damn.
Oh my gosh, Hall of Famer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's as simple as you could put it with him.
yeah.
He was great.
And then Ryan Parent was on the 2010 Cup run.
Yep.
He might have been MIA, but he was on the 2010 Cup run.
He was on the third defensive pair, barely ever ice, because we needed Pronger and Tiemanen's pairings to be out there most of the time.
Yeah, mostly like 40 minutes a game. Yeah.
He and Lucas Krajicek were the reason they traded for Andre Mazzaros after that season, because they realized they needed to have a third defense pairing that could actually play a little bit.
Play a little bit. Yeah.
You know,
to
so that Chris Pronger doesn't have to play 40 minutes a night.
Oh my gosh. And then to round it out, John's boy, Alexei Zhitnik, was
Yes.
on the team.
For everybody, I forgot that he played for the Flyers.
Yeah, I think everyone did, John. I think everyone did.
He played during that awful 06, 07.
That's probably why. Yeah,
Yeah.
I blocked that. I
That
blocked
bad season,
Yeah, that
and
was
he
really
was
bad. Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was traded to Atlanta to bring us Braden Coburn, who the first part of his career was
Yeah,
decent.
thank you. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I
He was
like
a piece.
I like him. Well, first half, second half not so
First
much.
half.
Second half, not so much. Yeah,
Second
but
half.
boy, when he came on board, yeah. he
And
was great.
Zhitnik in his earlier career with Buffalo wasn't bad,
Yeah,
No.
no, not at all, not at all.
He was just
but again,
bad when he was here.
we got him kind of at the end.
Yeah, the tail end of his career. And then on the Eagles side, John,
Yes.
your boy, Anton Davis,
Turnstile.
turnstile, more famous for turning away and wow, look at that edge rusher going after.
I was telling the guys in pre-production. I swear, there's got to be NFL films footage of someone crawling through his leg and sacking the quarterback. That's how bad he was.
He
Like
was-
there's plenty of film of right, left, bowling him over, jumping over him. But I swear, there's got to be one piece of film that's out there where someone just said hike and he crawled right under his legs and tackled the quarterback.
Tackled the quarterback.
That's how
Really
bad.
bad. That I was just saying, even too, but before we went live, he was 91, and I remember when they picked him, they said, "This is our left tackle for the next 10 years," and really.
Well, in Norman
6'8",
Brayman's terms, that was 10 minutes.
300 pounds and can't block. How is that a left tackle in the NFL? No, can't block. Forget it. That was just awful. Few others. Artis Hicks wore it.
Nothing bad to say about him.
Meh. Mike McGlynn wore it. Meh. Michael Bennett wore it. He was
I
here
hate his jersey, but okay.
Okay. And Andre Dillard currently wears it. He was supposedly going to be left tackle until Jordan Mailata came along and took his spot.
I have no issue with Dillard being what he is now.
Mm-hmm.
He fits in, plays a couple plays here. He's a fifth or sixth offensive lineman when they do that big package. So I have he's fine where he is.
It's fine. Yeah.
I have
Might as well
nothing bad
trade
to
him.
say about him. He's never going to be
Not going
on
to be
that
left tackle of the future.
permanently. It's just
Nope.
not.
Since
not
we
that
found a
guy.
Hall of Famer now in the left tackle,
Trade him.
Straight up for another first-round pick, Howie. Do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That
So-
kind of deal.
So in
Well,
other
wait a
words,
minute, wait a
what
minute. I think there's an update here. Steve, I think you have a special update for us here.
Oh, that yes.
Yeah.
I just before we got to that, I just wanted to say
Yeah.
one more thing. For all the youngins who are slobbering over Cale Makar in Colorado,
Who?
Paul Coffey nearly scored 50 goals in a season as a defenseman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick caveat: he did play with Gretzky, but I've
50
always
goals from a
argued-
defenseman. Yeah.
I always argued that Gretzky was great, but there was a lot of talent around Gretzky to be
Mhm.
great, and Paul Coffey was one of them.
Was one
It
of them.
was
Big pieces.
absolutely.
So,
All right, so
you
so
got
now-
a little bit of a update here, right, John? Or right, Steve? What do you got? What do you got
yeah,
for us?
so in pre-production this week, John talked about how he started Two Noobs because he wanted to do his own news. He couldn't watch the news anymore.
Oh, heck yeah.
And that reminded me of when I was young.
Mm.
and I wanted to be a weatherman. So I thought I'd give it a try here to do a Two Noobs weather report.
Nice. Love it.
And a real quick story about when I was young and wanting to be a weather guy. I have family who lives down in the Atlanta area. We went to visit them in '93, I think, during the summer. And CNN's down there, but also the Weather Channel, at least then, was based down in Atlanta.
That's right.
And so my parents called to see, like, hey, do you do tours of the Weather Channel? And they basically laughed them off the phone because at that point in time, the channel was essentially broadcasting out of a closet.
Sounds about right.
So, with that in mind, here is the Two Noobs Talking First Weather Report.
There you go.
All right, we're going to start in the Northeast. Currently, temperature is not too bad, particularly along the Northeast corridor, metropolitan areas in New England down through Philly. Stable temperatures, but we've got a trough coming in the jet stream down from Canada.
Oh, boy.
So it's got a cold front leading on it. So you can see there's going to be some showers along the boundary there. Maybe a few severe, probably not this time of year. But the real story is after that cold front moves through, it's going to be cold as balls.
Yes.
So you're gonna want to bundle up.
Yeah, you got to bundle up for that. Yeah.
Let's head to the south, John's neck of the woods.
Oh, there you go.
We see some shower activity up north, Kansas, Oklahoma area. We've got some in Florida. But we've got a Bermuda high here, which is odd because we're talking about the Gulf of Mexico. So this high pressure is going to keep those showers away from Texas and John's area. But what that's also going to do is keep the cloud cover at bay as well. And so the heat is going to climb from the sun, and it is going to be hot as balls.
You were actually pretty the one testicle is probably right on central. Good work.
Nice.
And then here we go out west. Very clear, dry conditions going on. But as you can see in Southern California, we've got a strong upper level low moving onshore. That's going to cause some winds to swirl. It is going to be windy as balls. And then if we check in on Washington, D.C., we see it is nothing but bullshit.
It is.
And now for your local forecast. I'll just leave this up here.
Love it. Balls, too. This weather report brought to you by Two Noobs Talking. Thank you for that, Steve. That's awesome. Love it. So let's
sensing a theme there?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Under the radar, but anyway, let's move on to our first topic.
He went to Catholic weather school. That's what I'm sensing.
There you go. Let's move on to our first topic, guys. This was a very interesting article here from the New York Times. And to be perfectly honest, I found it incredibly shocking to come from the New York Times. The headline or the
I didn't even know that people that could write anymore.
It really is amazing. The editorial board, March 18th, America has a free speech problem. And,
No.
I wonder why that could be the case. Many Americans are understandably confused about what they can say and where they can say it. People should be able to put forward viewpoints, ask questions, make mistakes, take unpopular but good faith positions on issues that society is still working through, all without fearing cancellation. That might be a memo to the New York Times not to cancel people. Anyway, it was very interesting. They have a poll here commissioned by Times Opinion and Siena College. 34% of Americans said they believed that all Americans enjoy freedom of speech completely. That's a minority opinion. The same poll also found that 84% of Americans said it is a very serious or somewhat serious problem that some Americans do not speak freely in everyday situations because of fear of retaliation or harsh criticism. Now, John, we pride ourselves here on Two Noobs as being an open forum, basically. That's why we created this podcast in October of 2020. What are your thoughts with this editorial from the New York Times, this bastion of liberalism here?
My fear is they conducted a poll on social media, but are trying to paint it as everyday life. Like that's the one thing that kind of scares me, because I think freedom of speech in this country is in trouble, especially on social media, because you got trolls, you got opinionated people that aren't really opinionated if you're standing next to them, but they would absolutely be opinionated, behind the keyboard. I don't see it in my everyday, and I travel around a lot. I don't see it as an issue in everyday, but also people aren't like running up on a street corner, on their soapbox, preaching whatever they want to preach. They're just going about their day and doing their thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the New York Times is actually on the beaten path, but it's still an issue. I mean, if you can't speak freely on social media, that's kind of troublesome, because that's kind of how we all connect.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
In this day and age. But this has been a problem. This has been a problem since Tipper Gore, with the censorship of music.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like the parental advisory sticker.
It kind of started. You're right. It kind of started with the whole, the government getting involved, particularly with video games. I would even say that as well.
Video games. Remember back in New York City in the early '90s, where the mayor ran over all the rap CDs and said it was garbage and nobody should listen to it. Mm-hmm. Like we've had this problem for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
It's just the New York Times is finally writing about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they get around to something.
My opinion about the New York Times.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, I'll go to you. What are you thinking here?
Well, didn't you say that the article made a point that we aren't even talking about government infringing on speech now? It's more like person-to-person issues of, you say something, I'm gonna beat your face with an iron boot because you said it, even if I misunderstood and you weren't actually taking a position that I found offensive. And I agree with those people. There's a lot of people out there who don't speak their minds because they're going to be deemed a racist, even though they're not making a racist point. They're going to be deemed a socialist, even though they're not making a socialist point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think we've lost that sense of, to your point, the sense of terms and the sense of words of having meaning. I think that's more of an issue in terms of free speech, that everything is racist, that kind of a deal, where it's more like if you say something that is somewhat controversial, there's this underlying, well, what is it? Is it racist? Well, yes, it is. Okay, we're got to get him off Twitter, or we got to get him off Facebook, or, it violates this or violates that. Whereas really in the public square, you're allowed to say what's on your mind, bring it to the table, and have a dialogue and a discussion, with people that disagree with you. It's whereas now it's like, if you bring something to the table, it's almost like, well, that insults my view that I've worked so hard to build up. And it's like, I don't want to listen to this, which is a problem in of itself. I don't want to listen to this, therefore I'm going to cancel you.
I forget who said it, but I remember hearing somebody say something to the effect of, most people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond.
Yes, that is 100% true.
The whole point being, you're listening, and while you're listening, you're trying to formulate a response, and so you're not actually going to hear what they're saying. You're hearing what you want to hear so that you can spit something back out. You're not listening to what they're saying to take it in and pull it apart and say, oh, that's what they really mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a
lot of that goes on.
The one thing that really, that's such a great point, Steve. The one thing that I was fortunate to be a part of this last weekend was what they call, there was like a student apologetics conference. It was Christian based, but it was run by an organization called Stand to Reason. And Greg Kokel is their president. And Greg had a talk talking about sharing your convictions, but you do it in a way when you're speaking to somebody, you let them do almost all the talking. And if you don't know a question, or if you don't know what they're saying, you basically say, what do you mean by that? And how did you come to that conclusion? That engages people. That is like, oh, well, this is why I came to this conclusion. This is why I believe this particular way. As opposed to like if you're just shouting slogans all over the place and sound bites, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you ask really good questions and pay attention, all of a sudden the free speech now gets more ingrained into the system and you don't fear cancellation.
The funny thing about that is, though, I bet you if you were to come across someone who is just kind of speaking in slogans,
Mm-hmm.
and you ask them, well, what do you mean by that? What did you do to formulate that opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I guarantee you they can't give you a good
They
answer.
can't give you that.
No.
And they're just going to yell at you some more because that'll make them feel better.
And that's where we've kind of lost the conversation in the country and probably in the world.
Mm-hmm.
When we were coming up, when we were younger, our parents taught us how to have a conversation, how to be, vocal in your convictions, but yet not be a jerk in your convictions at the same time. I know a lot of people that I don't 100% agree with them, but I can come to terms with, okay, well, that's how you got there, and this is how I got there. And there's I don't feel it. I mean, there's some people I've had to just completely just cut out of my life because I can't. I'm there for distance and irritation. I'm not there for, stupidity.
I think there's a point. I think, John, to your point, there comes a point in time where if you're getting so much blowback, okay, yeah, I can't have that conversation. And it is okay to avoid those people.
Yes.
It is okay to do that. It comes to a point where if you get to that point, though, that's going to be a problem. If you get angry, you lose the conversation. I don't care who you
always.
are.
Yeah, always.
If you're talking to that same person, or if you're on the receiving end and the temperature gets raised up, you're both going to lose out. You're not going to get your point across, no matter what the case may be. I think the issue, too, spinning this forward, maybe in the business world, is, well, okay, if I've got a Twitter account and I say something that's controversial, and all of a sudden I'm like looking at another employer for another job, and they happen to find my Twitter account, for some reason, and they see it, and they deny me that opportunity. That's where I think we really have to stop drawing the line, because a lot could change between now and 5 years. And what's happening in the culture now is, if you do something 5 years ago, you're automatically destroyed.
Oh, it's more than 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
They went back to Kevin Hart 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like 10 years, a comedian. A comedian in an era
Dave Chappelle, for God's sakes.
Where you could say whatever you wanted as a comedian. Yeah. They went back 10 years and tried to cancel him.
Yeah. And Dave Chappelle, for God's sakes, is another one.
Wasn't offensive back then.
Yep.
But that's also a thing of conversations and tact in this world, is you probably shouldn't post your innermost feelings on things on Twitter. Like, it's not, social media isn't the place for you to really break down yourself as a person.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, you have to do it with a lot of grace and a lot of humility.
But a lot of people.
But how many people do that?
In the loss of the conversation, you only have 140 characters in Twitter. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble. Real quick, because you have 3 counterpoints to your main point, and you only can post your main point.
Yeah. Or the worst part is you just go to a meme that mirrors your point, doesn't exactly say what you're going to say, and you're going to say, well, that's my point, and it's like, no, that's somebody else's point. You have to have the balls to say it. No pun intended.
Basically, but also you can't say it on Twitter because you don't have room to say it on Twitter.
No, you don't.
And we live in a society where no one's gonna read your fucking 975,000 page Facebook post when you actually put all your convictions out there.
Yeah, exactly. Good, Steve.
Well, then you have the problem of people posting out of emotion.
Yeah.
Like something happens and they're either angry or sad or frustrated, and so they'll post something out of that emotion instead of stopping to think about what they're saying before they post it.
We are an extremely reactionary society at this point.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been molded through the social medias. It's the same thing I talk about all the time. the major news networks learned from ESPN how stupid we actually are, and they followed this amazing concept of get it out. It doesn't have to be correct. Get it out because we get our most click in advertising on the first shot, and they all learned it, and they all do it now, and that's why we're in the position we are.
Yeah, exactly.
But I see a change with longer podcasts.
Like ours.
There's a lot. Well, Rogan goes twice as long as we do.
Oh yeah.
Ben Shapiro goes twice as long as we do. But there are great places you can find with. I'm not just saying those two. There's millions of them on the internet.
Oh sure.
Of intellectual long talks where you can use the internet to your advantage if that's what you want to. It's just a matter of finding out it existed.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, in a long podcast like that, you're not going to get the soundbite.
No.
Which, to be honest with you, I kind of like that, to be perfectly frank. I'd rather
that makes
have
my
a
job
long
very hard,
conversation.
Matt.
Yes. I like
When
the
I
long
pull
talk.
minute-long clips to post on Facebook, I need sound bites.
Well, another thing, too, is all three of us are talented
funny
in what we
guys.
say and
There you
do.
go.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, we could do the 1-minute soundbite clips if we wanted to. That kind of a deal.
We're kind of funny. You got a ball segment. We'll cut that. We're good. Let's
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
We know what we're doing here.
We try. Exactly. Yeah. Well, gents, let's go ahead and move on to our second topic here. And this one, oh boy, did this one get our dander up a little bit. New York City Mayor Eric Adams came in. Breath of fresh air, right? You're leaving with de Blasio and his lunacy. Well, apparently he's of the same cloth, I guess you could say. He excuses New York City athletes and performers from the vaccine mandate that the city has imposed. Very, very interesting. Steve, you brought this to our attention. What are your thoughts on this mayor's decision here?
This just underscores the whole stupidity of the thing, right?
That's when they think they pull you back. They pull you back in, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Ugh.
Why are you? I mean, the whole stated purpose of this vaccine mandate on private employers, by the way, was, well, we've got to get everybody vaccinated. Okay, well, now why are you allowing an exception for athletes and performers? What possible reason could there be for them to excuse athletes and performers? Oh, that's right, because they need them to perform so the city can make money. Oh, right, yeah.
All the money.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? You could make money off of other private employers if you let their employees go to work without being vaccinated too.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing too, it's like I when you brought it, it was very interesting. My first initial reaction was, that's interesting, because people that go to those sporting events, Broadway shows, theaters, and all those kinds of things, they have to have jobs, which may or may not, enforce a vaccine mandate on you, and they bring the money to the table. So it's kind of like, okay, so on one hand, you want to have the multimillionaires perform, but on the other hand, you've got to bring the audience in, and you're telling them that they're not worthy of a mandate exemption? Like, what's going on there? What is happening here?
You either got to leave it in place as it is, or you got to remove it for everybody. You can't make exceptions like this.
I think like we were talking about in the last topic, I think this was reactionary to what Durant came out and said, because Durant was making fun of him.
Yeah, Kevin Durant.
Basically call him an idiot, because he was like, so my unvaccinated teammate can come watch the game on the bench, but he can't play. And he was calling out the bullshit, and the quote that I think turned it over. He was like, well, if he knows better, he'll fix it. And that's
wow.
Yeah, they're doing what they've always done.
This is really funny. I have to send these quotes to you guys to get your reaction, because this is Eric Adams talking here in this quote.
Well, before you read that, Kevin Durant's absolutely right.
Oh yeah,
it is incredibly stupid that Kyrie could sit there on the bench as a spectator.
Oh yeah,
he couldn't play.
He couldn't play
because of the mandate.
That's how dumb
Stunning.
this whole thing is.
Yeah, it's stunning.
He was allowed in the building. He was even allowed to shoot around.
That's amazing.
He could work out with the team. He could do all the things with the team, except for when the whistle blew. It was like, all right, guys, line up. He had to sit down.
He had to sit down.
So the people, so here you go. So the people who can't work because of the vaccine mandate, they should go to their place of business and just hang out. I'm not working.
I'm not working. Right?
That's how stupid this is.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest issue. De Blasio before was such a jackass and made us watch him eat cheeseburgers on TV.
Oh, yeah.
That they were just like, get him out of here. I need somebody.
Mm-hmm. And they bring this
Eric
guy
Adams is the biggest rebound relationship New York will ever have. That's all I have to say about it.
There you go. So, okay, so let's take a look at these ridiculous quotes that he said.
Go for it.
I'm mayor of the city, and I'm going to
Way to go,
make...
jackass. We all
Really? He's mayor of the
I'm
city?
mayor of the
Really?
city. I get to do what I want.
I get to do what I want.
If this came out and said I'm Batman, it would have
I'm mayor of the city, and I'm going to make some tough choices. People are not going to agree with some of them. Really. I was not elected to follow. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah. I was not elected to be fearful, but to be fearless. Really?
So if you're fearless, remove the goddamn mandate for everybody, because what you've done is just stupid.
Thank you. Brilliantly said. I must move this city forward.
Oh, okay.
Which he has not done at all.
Which he has put in reverse, but that's okay.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I'm not making this decision loosely or haphazardly.
You're doing it with money.
Money.
Like we know it's not loose and haphazardly. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money to be made in campaigns and your
John,
money,
though,
you got
the city has to function. Some will boo us, others will cheer us. That is not only a game of baseball, but that's the game of life, and we have to be on the field in order to win. That sounds like Kamala Harris, for God's sake.
I absolutely want to know who wrote that speech for him. Because that person, I would just love to put a video camera on that person and just listen to the gibberish for 10 weeks straight, because that sounds like Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy. Like you're making all that has to happen. You're not doing any of that, but yes, all that has to happen. Like that's the... And they say we're offensive when we say they're stupid. I don't understand. I don't
get it. But then again, I think all three of us are not surprised with the sheer lunacy that is.
Read those last couple ones back again.
Which one? The city has to function?
Yeah, the city has to function.
The city has to function. Some will.
Okay, stop. The city has to function.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get Kyrie back on the court. Oh, that's really having the city function, isn't it?
No, but
we got to get Broadway performers back. That's the city functioning. Oh, well, who gives a shit about the janitorial services or public works department?
The trees don't need to be watered in Central Park. No, you don't need to. You don't need to.
Don't need to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to cut the grass there.
Don't need to cut the grass.
To cut the grass by themselves. But Kyrie doesn't need to be vaccinated to play basketball.
Global warming will shorten the grass.
Close together. Really close together.
John, global warming will shorten the grass, so that'll take care of itself, really. At the end of the day.
That guy needs to be vaccinated because he's riding a riding mower in the middle of Central Park by himself.
Yeah. With a mask on. He's got to wear a mask too, by the way.
Do they still have that requirement too?
Outdoor. I think they took it away outdoor.
I think they did.
Even Philadelphia's gotten rid of it indoor, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Hope for the Alex Murray roller hockey invitational game. There you go. So
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not looking too bad right now.
There you go. Just got to hold it in place.
100 and that's two trips.
I never would have thought though, with de Blasio leaving, we would have somebody worse than this guy.
But also, if you spill a soda in the middle of your carpet, right, and you clean it up, you're not going to get the fringe right away. You're going to have to go back and go back and go back. And this is all. It's politics. Is all that? It's scum. You're going to have to clean it up again. You're going to have to clean it up again. You're going to have to clean it up again. Not everybody is for, the normal working people. He just happened to take on. The smart move of being a politician is de Blasio was that bad. Oh, I could go in there and get elected. I can't be any worse than him.
Yeah. And yet this
That's
is
the way the
very de
voting system is,
Blasio-esque. Really? This is something de Blasio would do and
Yeah,
say.
but at least he's not eating hamburgers like a pig on TV.
Yeah, seriously.
City has to function. Kyrie's got to get in there.
And Como
Mayor of the city's got to make tough choices, Steve. You know what I'm saying? He's got
That was such a tough choice.
I guess
Caving
it's a tough
into
choice
the-
if you say, you know what, if you have X millions of dollars, I'll finally make the exception. But these working class people over here, well, you know what, we still got to
Plebes.
get them under COVID.
The plebes got to get vaccinated, man.
Unbelievable.
For the city to function, we need our elites
Yep.
to be,
Yep.
on the field of life.
Yes.
I'm guessing
Give me a break.
he wanted to have tourism. Maybe that was his thought process. Possibly. Who knows?
It doesn't make that like it's not a viable
Everywhere
way
you
to
go.
do
Yeah.
tourism. Yeah, he's an idiot.
He's really bad, really bad. So let's move on from him, loser. But this was very interesting. Topic 3. This kind of came up on my Facebook posting, and I sent it to both of my two good friends here, my two co-hosts. March 21st, 2004, the Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia imploded upon itself.
Good
Of course,
riddance.
by the city of Philadelphia and all the ordinances and all that kind of
Good.
stuff.
And-
Well,
But-
it wouldn't be surprising if it had imploded on itself.
Exactly.
The fanatic got to pull the plunger. That
Yeah, the fanatic got to pull the plug, and we
I
all
remember.
cried, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, we got two beautiful
Who
stadiums
cried?
around here. Hold on,
I didn't cry. Who cried?
I didn't cry.
I
What are you
did.
talking
I mean,
about?
I grew up with that stadium. Anyway, let's
So
talk
did
about
I,
the
but I
vet.
didn't cry.
Let's talk about the vet. No, it's not. Let's talk about the vet, guys. I marched in the vet,
You did.
and it was ungodly awful to walk.
And you will pay for that in about 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a knee replacement.
It was awful. It was god awful. It literally was. I don't know how else to explain it to our outside of the Philadelphia area viewers here and listeners. But imagine
Wow.
you have a slab of concrete, and then imagine you basically put an AstroTurf covering that is more like, I don't know how else, kind of like paint. Yeah.
Yes. A fake tennis court.
A fake tennis court on top of it, and then you're walking on it, and you're playing football at a high rate of speed on it. No.
Who was that Chicago Bears guy that blew both of his
Wendell
knees out?
Davis.
Yes.
It was Wendell Davis that leapt up and blew both of his knees out.
Yeah.
Like that takes a lot of talent to do, but that was not on him. That was clearly
That was all part of the home field advantage. Our athletes got used to it. And so visiting athletes would come in, they would not be used to it. It's like
Stockholm syndrome at its finest.
yeah, no, it's like
You're prepared because you have to deal with this daily.
exactly.
it's
know
like
what you're
Mile
in
High
for.
Stadium.
Yeah.
It's like Mile High Stadium. The guys in Denver who are playing there, they're used to the thin air, whereas the visiting team
already.
Had to deal
right
with the
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was the same thing here. Our guys were used to it. So the visiting team come in and blow their knees out. It was all good.
Yeah. Another one was too, like Brian Billick, I think, with the Ravens in a preseason game came in and saw there were like, they're indents in the
Oh yeah, the seams.
That was
were
when they-
coming out.
in
Yeah.
the seams, and
That was
like,
when they
"We're not
tried
playing on
to
this."
Yeah.
they tried to redo the turf, right?
Yeah.
They had that I
Something
forget
with
what
the
it had a
stitching,
name.
I think, was yeah.
I've always said that was a ploy of the Players Association
Oh,
and
100%.
and Jeffrey Lurie to get a new stadium because ironically Brian Billick walks up to Troy Vincent, who was then the next named leader of the Players Association after he retired.
Look at this.
Troy Vincent held clout back then. Like it does. Like, oh, it just happens to be those two dudes and the owners and the head official going, this place sucks on national TV.
Oh my god.
We knew it. When I was 8 years old, I told this story to you guys in pre-production. My
Mm.
dad we were going to see the San Francisco Giants when Barry Bonds, before steroids and Barry Bonds, when he was before that.
There you go.
Going to see them play, and we were walking up that long stretch to get all the way to the outfield when you had to walk up that long. And I remember just looking at my dad and being me, as you know me now, looking at my dad being like, when are we going to get a real baseball stadium?
Yeah.
Like at 8, I knew that place sucked.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
happy that we got one
And
later
we
on.
got one. Yeah. Exactly.
Look, I played baseball growing up. I know a ball is not supposed to bounce that high when it hits something green. It's just not natural.
So true.
you remember?
Ozzie Smith had so many great great plays like that.
Yeah.
I bet you if he played on grass only,
Oh,
he would have been a decent defensive shortstop.
yeah.
But he was playing on all those concrete lands where the ball would bounce real high. He'd have to leap over,
Yeah.
over people to catch it.
To catch a ball. I remember specifically there was one Sunday game the Phillies were playing. They had Juan Samuel playing center field, which I don't know how that's even possible. He's the
interesting.
second baseman.
That's interesting.
They put him out in center field. He ran to go get a ball, couldn't get there. Ball bounces, but instead of dying, right over his head.
Yep.
Right over his head to the
'Cause
back
that's
of the
what a
wall. And I
baseball
thought,
does.
oh my God. You know, it's just like that was the vet. That was the vet back then. I know Steve and I went to a huge. Why don't you tell us about that, Steve? With like Temple and Boston College, we had a lot of fun with that game, right?
Oh yeah. So we went. It was brutally cold. What was it? December game? Was it December?
I want to say it was like mid to late
November.
Yeah.
I mean, it was November, but it was brutally cold, and the winds would swirl in Veterans Stadium.
Mhm.
And we were right near one of the parts where the players would come out onto the field.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just a particularly good wind tunnel because
Just
it was super cold.
oh my God.
But we kept ourselves warm by harassing a member of the Hasselbeck family who played for Boston College. It was not Tim or Matt, to my knowledge.
It was
Had to have been
other
a third
Hasselbeck.
brother.
It was
you know?
it was like a third brother, other Hasselbeck. And,
I didn't even know there was. I thought they all played for Boston College.
They might
They're
have.
They're such a plain family that they
Yeah.
could have all just been.
It wasn't either of them because this one, I think he only showed up on special teams. Like he was
Oh,
a
there
kick
you go.
returner or something.
I mean, and to give you an idea, we were at a game I think it was either the next year or the year after that. Steve and I went to a game, I think it was Temple Pittsburgh, and we were down to lower levels, and it was around the same time. Not nearly as cold, not nearly as like frozen solid or anything of that sort. But it was the stark. I'll never forget it because it was like, I don't know how many cups of hot chocolate I must have had in my system, John. Like, it didn't even matter. It was so brutally cold in that stadium.
It was an uncomfortable stadium. I remember
Yeah.
being there for Eagles games and Phillies games, and now being in the link and being in Citizens Bank Park. It's just a different vibe.
It sure
It's just
is.
a nicer vibe. Like you just want to be there. You didn't want to be at the vet. The vet was it was clown college for sports.
I was going to say one other thing too. I was there for an Eagles-Giants game in '99. So this is when Doug Peterson was the quarterback, Deuce Staley, only offensive weapon, right? So it's Andy Reid's first season.
Mhm.
And I was working for Comcast Cellular at the time, and they had a box up in the 700 level in the skybox area. And so we were kind of like looking down over, I guess it would be like left field in the stadium. And the Eagles are kind of ahead, but you know the Giants are going to overtake them and essentially win it, and they did. 700 level, there was a huge brawl, and I mean that people were throwing hands left and right, and it was like it took up 2 aisles worth of these Eagles and Giants fans were fighting it out, and they had like the security guards, and all they could do was stand at the end of the aisle and let them just fight it out, and then go and grab people that were hurt. And
That's what
take them
happens
down.
when you make people uncomfortable.
It was
for long
unbelievable. They
periods of
could
time.
not go down those aisles to stop the fight from happening. It was crazy.
I went to a game that was the last game of that season when they played the Rams, who ended up winning the Super Bowl that year.
Mhm.
And Donovan McNabb was starting at that point, and they actually won the game, which was a great surprise to all of us. But my brother, the Dallas Cowboy fan, I was just amazed he made it out of there alive.
Yeah,
Exactly.
especially back then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
especially back
But there
then.
were some good memories. I mean, like I remember, like John and I went right to a Cardinals Phillies game. Mark McGuire, summer of '98. We were down there, I think, right? And he hit like 2 or 3 home runs, and everybody was enthralled with that. And
That was crazy. That was that crazy run.
yeah, that was unbelievable. Like it was just an amazing night.
We
And,
did have the '93 Phillies,
We did. Yeah.
and there's the great memories of the vet there. I mean, those guys. I don't even know how those guys successfully made it all the way to the World Series playing on that field.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Ironically enough, I can't remember if I went to see. I saw the Phillies that year,
Mm.
but I'm not sure I saw them at the Vet that year. I saw them in that same trip for the Weather Channel. We went to a Braves Phillies game because they happened to be in town while we were down there. So we went to Fulton County Stadium.
County, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Saw them
Launchpad.
play there
Yeah.
and beat the Braves.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I don't remember if we saw them in the vet in '93. Saw them plenty of times not in '93 when they were not good. But I have some great memories too. I saw Kurt Schilling strike out 16 Yankees in '96.
Oh,
First ever interleague series there. That was amazing.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there the week after September 11th when it was the second game after they restarted playing sports. So it was it was a real emotional night, and they ended up coming back on John Smoltz, who was the closer at that point for Atlanta, and winning the game, which was pretty cool. So those were two really nice kind of vet Phillies memories.
Kind
For
of
me.
neat Phillies memories. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you could say RIP to the vet. Now it's a parking lot, which is, kind of more.
It's
I think it's
helpful.
better. Yeah.
It's helpful. Very helpful now.
Very helpful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's some of our memories of the vet. But hey, we've hit now topic number 4, guys. We did the candy bar bracket.
Yes.
We did the bag chip bracket. And so now here we are, John. What is this bracket for our Two Noobs tournament?
This one was a little harder. All right. We are doing, for the third bracket of 4,
Okay.
we're doing Girl Scout cookies.
Oh,
Honor of
wow.
the
Oh.
recent. This is a Northeast list from the Northeast Division because
Okay.
apparently if you Google search them,
Mm-hmm.
there's regions and there's different cookies all over the place. I didn't know this.
Are
I'm
we?
kidding.
I have to thank my sister. I called her. She used to help out with the Girl Scouts. She was able to get me prominent Northeast information
There you go.
that I couldn't get on Google.
There you
Are
go.
we missing out here in the Northeast?
No,
or-
not really. We're actually doing pretty well.
Oh,
There you
okay. So we've got the better of the choices.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I went with that one because it's more of there's some things I've never heard of. I have pictures. I will send pictures over to Matt so he can put them on the screen because I've
Maybe we'll
never.
throw it up there. Yeah. Funny. All
So
right,
I have these are of the sales of that region.
Is that how they're ranked by
Yeah,
sales?
that's how
by
they are
sales.
ranked.
Okay.
Right, so we're 1 through. So I guess we'll start with the 3-6 and we'll start with Steve.
Okay.
Okay.
3-6, you have the 3 seed, the peanut butter patty, which is the knockoff of the Reese's, but it's kind of a cookie. I don't know if you know that one, but
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one they have peanut butter between 2 cookies?
yes, and a chocolate coating around it.
Okay.
I don't think I've
Okay.
ever had one of those.
Interesting. Okay.
All
And
right.
what's your 6 seed, John?
And the 6 seed is the Adventureful,
Huh.
which is a newer cookie. It's a cross between a caramel delight and a cookie.
Interesting. Hmm. What are you thinking there, Steve?
Well, because I haven't had either one of them, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the 3 seed as just an old standard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Newer cookie cannot advance.
The
here.
favorite. Yeah, favorite
Newer
seed. There
cookie
you go.
now. Thank God we got this.
Let's just go with the favorite on that one because I
There you
don't
go.
have much other information to
It
utilize. there.
literally, it's a brownie inspired cookie with caramel flavoring,
Huh.
cream with a hint of sea salt.
Ugh.
That's an Adventureful. That definitely
I-
needs to get, definitely needs to get knocked out by the crispy cookie layered peanut butter covered with chocolate. That just sounds good.
Yeah.
We gotta be careful with tasting.
Yeah, it sounds more like a Reese's cup, so I'll favor that one.
There you
Alright.
go. There you
So
go.
that one moves on. All right.
Okay.
I don't even have a pen, so I'm just gonna do this in my brain.
Gotcha.
So we're going
I
to
got
the
you, Johnny.
4-5.
Okay.
We have the traditional shortbread at 4.
Okay.
Coming
Alright.
in, and the awkward, I didn't even know this thing existed until now, the peanut butter sandwich.
So that's
is the
probably
one
what I
Steve
was talking
about. Yes.
Okay.
This is the crunchy oatmeal sandwich cookie
Hmm.
with creamy peanut butter filling.
What the hell, Girl Scout region is Northeast?
is the-
Because I don't think I've seen half of these cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I think I'm going with Steve on this one. You got to go with the favored seed here. So I'm going to go
The
with the
shortbread?
shortbread the number 4 seed moving on here.
Oh, 3 and 4 have moved on.
Yeah.
I love the shortbread cookies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love those.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think I've had the PB&J sandwich cookie, but I'm pretty sure I've had a shortbread cookie before, and I like that. So yeah.
So now we go to 2-7 for Steve. You got the Caramel Delight at the 2 seed. It's the coconut cookie.
Oh boy. Okay.
With the
Coconut. Wait, it's called Caramel Delight, but it's coconut? What?
Yes, Caramel Delight. It's the vanilla cookie topped with caramel, toasted coconut, and laced with chocolate stripes.
Wow.
It's the good one.
Okay.
Well, it's got coconut, so it's not sounding too good. So read me number 7.
The
You
lemonade.
probably already see which way I'm leaning here.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
lemonade, which is their shortbread cookie, just with a tangy lemon taste.
Oh, well, I mean, come on. Come on, Steve.
Well, I hate coconut, so I'm going to go to the number 7.
gotta go to the
I love the
That's
shortbread.
my favorite cookie. That should have been number 1.
I love the shortbread cookies. I don't like when they bastardize it with,
Understood.
additional flavors like lemon, but in this case, I would favor the lemon
Lemonade
cookie
cookie?
over
So the lemon color. We always give Steve the 2-7. 7 always comes out that way. Point that out to our listeners.
Nice.
If you're gonna bet next show, and I
you
get
go.
the 2-7, you know where I'm going.
You know where you're
We
going.
got the 1-8, which we have the Thin Mint
Oh, yeah. Okay.
going against the Toast Yay, which is a French toast inspired cookie dipped in delicious icing, full flavored every bite. Yay! I wrote it verbatim.
What's it called again? The 8 seed, Johnny?
The Toast A,
The
like
toast
yay.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Thin Mint moves on.
Thin Mint wins the battle. Like,
Thin Mint's like,
there's
come on.
nobody
That's,
there anymore.
that is a worthy number 1, by the way.
I feel like there's a bunch of cookies that are missing from this list. Thin
All right.
Mints and shortbreads are like the only 2.
That's
And
gonna be
maybe the
hard matchup.
peanut butter sandwich are the only 3 I've ever encountered. I feel like
See, my problem with putting it together is I only buy 2 cookies as soon as I see them.
Yeah.
Is the Thin Mints and the Caramel Delights. I'm
And the
like,
Caramel
I need as many boxes as you got of that, and as many boxes as you got of that. I'm out. I'm not even checking the rest of the.
Yeah. All right, so
So we're moving on here. So we got the 7 seeds going up against
the 3 seed, the
3
peanut butter.
seed.
Yep.
So the peanut butter patty,
hmm
Matt, going against the lemonade.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of lemon cookies. And the peanut butter, again, it kind of leaves that peanut buttery, sticky roof to the mouth sensation. Not a really big fan of that for my cookie. I think 7 seed moves on.
All right.
7 seed's going to move on. I think the lemonade
Lemonade is
cookies
in
the
the
definitely one.
finals.
Yeah.
Steve, we got Thin Mints versus shortbread.
oh wow, this is the toughest.
Yeah. You better say Thin Mint because, like, that's like the greatest cookie in the history of Girl Scouts. Come on.
I'm
Might be
gonna
the
go.
first tournament where number 1 actually is number 1.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
legit
going.
one.
I'm going shortbread, baby.
Oh. That comes out.
Shortbreads are my favorite, and
There
they're the
you go.
only ones I buy.
Okay, all right.
Thin Mints, they're okay, but they don't. I feel like you could do better with a minty cookie.
Okay.
Okay.
You're wrong, but okay.
We're going. Where are we going? Lemonades
We're
versus
going-
shortbread?
The lemonade versus the shortbread.
Double
The 4
shortbread
versus
is
the
the
7 again.
This is like Duke, North Carolina. This
It
is
really
boring.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
They're right down the street from each other.
Yeah, exactly. So, who we got? Sean, I'll go with you first.
I'm gonna have to go shortbread because I don't want lemon in my cookie.
Okay. This is going to be controversial. Steve, what are you thinking here?
No, I'm going short. I'm going with John. Shortbread.
You're going with shortbread.
Shortbread is just. It's so good.
Okay.
It's like I can't say I've ever had another shortbread cookie from some other maker that tops this Girl Scout version of the shortbread cookie.
I would 100% agree with that. I haven't unless it's homemade because I've had some good.
Oh
homemade
yeah, I'm not
shortbread.
counting. I'm not counting
Yeah,
homemade.
but like really like store bought shortbread. Yeah, I don't think anybody can compete with Girl Scout shortbread.
So both of you crazy. I'm going to go with the lemonade.
Okay.
But I know
Okay,
I've lost. That's okay.
that's
Both of you
what
are
I'm fine.
absolutely
Okay.
crazy, but that's all right. I have no problem with that.
Well, you're going with lemonade, Matt. You're canceled. That's just the end.
That's okay,
Later on in Two Noobs Talking, we will dive deep into an interview why Matt likes lemon in his
I love it in the cookie. I don't know how else to explain it. I just love that it's a nice tangy flavor. I just love it. Love it.
And what I say about everything in the world, you do you, I'll do me.
There you go, brother.
So this is the first champion of one of these tournaments that's been non-unanimous.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the first
Right?
one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'd like to see how it competes.
You're both crazy, but that's okay.
I like how it like the last
we might be crazy, but not about this.
We'll wait till we get into the last tournament of them all.
Oh man.
Oh, so you actually have that?
Yeah, the shortbread might get knocked off just for pure understanding of everybody's love for certain things.
Interesting.
It's good because the Girl Scout cookies are they came out of the weak division.
Oh yeah.
This is the powerhouse division.
Oh yeah.
They're coming up against the powerhouse division. So.
Oh yeah. Because you got you got your Twix, you got your Ruff, or what was it last week? Twix.
No. Cheetos.
Cheetos that won.
You got Cheetos, Twix,
and now the shortbread.
Girl Scout cookies, and then our main event is coming up next week.
So postscript to last week. I forgot to mention when we were talking about how we all love Cheetos.
Yes.
Cheetos makes mac and cheese now.
Yes, they do.
And I buy the jalapeno version.
My God.
And it is fantastic.
Oh my God.
It is the most delicious mac and cheese I think I have ever had.
Jones, how are they the 7th seed in the chip tournament? That was the one thing that blew my mind. They were 7. That was crazy.
I thought they were supposed to be high. They would have been higher, but
that's nuts.
Google does not do good. Like
no, exactly.
Google's terrible at things.
So next week,
I'm not doing taste research. Sorry.
Exactly. So next week, what we'll do is we'll do the final bracket. We'll do the final major bracket that John has, and then we'll do our final four.
And we got to do our final four.
I'm already excited for this since he's
Can't wait.
apparently got it planned, and it's a powerhouse. So
it's gonna be amazing. Yeah, and I'm guessing probably with the final four, we'll probably do best 2 out of 3. I'm guessing. John,
I think we all vote for the final.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So we'll do it that way.
Yeah.
So let's go.
We're pre-production on our post-production before our pre-production of our post-production.
There you go.
Let's go.
Love it. Well, let's close it out, gents, with a really cool, happy segment. And this comes courtesy of the Good News Network, which I absolutely love. John and I were kind of talking about, we got to feel happy. And this was a really cool, happy segment. So,
I thought so.
Yeah. This was an interesting interview that was done by a multidisciplinary team from both Harvard and Stanford. They interviewed 3,100 participants between March and September of 2020 regarding the dark days of the pandemic. And it was very interesting because this is a response to, okay, now that you're all locked in, what are the benefits, I guess you could say, quote unquote, of this entire pandemic? Like what, you know what I mean? Like kind of like
what good came out of it? Yeah.
Yeah. What was the good news of this?
We cover the negative all the time. What good came out of it?
Good came out of it. So there were really 3 major things that came out of it. One was reported by 46% of the participants. One of the things they loved was quality time with loved ones.
Only 46%?
46% of the participants,
Didn't the divorce rate go up 57%?
I think it did, yeah.
So according to this, 54% of the people were not happy to be spending more time with their family. Holy crap.
Why the divorce rate went up?
Exactly. Jeez. But there were some
who are you?
There were some sentences here. The kids are helping around the house more. I'm in touch with my family who live far away. We're taking more walks together. So that was the general response, basically, of that. The second most recognized silver lining was that essentially life slowed down, could do things calmly without fear of missing out. Now, John, you and I have talked about that. That was a huge step, right? I mean, everything's slowing down. You didn't feel rushed. When we launched Two Noobs in October of 2020, we didn't feel rushed when we were doing this, right, at the beginning?
It was funny. It's something about that time frame with the lockdowns and reconnecting with both of you guys and other friends of mine, and it gave me that like 2-week period gave myself a time to kind of reevaluate what I was doing and why I was doing it. And I felt like it slowed down, and I felt like my creative side really came out, which hadn't really been a part of my life for a while.
Heck
So
yeah,
that was my silver lining, is my creativeness
say that right there. Yeah.
became more. And I would hope that was for a lot of people. Yeah, it definitely slowed down. I took a lot more walks. Me and my wife took a lot more walks trying to get out of the house and, get healthier, because they, basically told us we were going to die. So, try to get healthier. I quit smoking, which was something that I was struggling with for years.
Huge. Yeah.
Quit a couple times, but always kind of went back to it with the stress and the anxiety of everything.
Yeah.
It gave me a time to be like, hey, I want to be healthy for, my kids, my family, my everyday life. And I was able to just put it down, and it was a straight put down. It was I don't do this anymore, and I haven't been back, which is it's the occasional cigar, but hey, I can do what I want. I'm a big boy.
There you go. There you go.
You're the mayor. You can do what you want.
Exactly.
My friends are getting exempt, but the rest of you peons, nothing.
There you go. There you go. I know for me, it was all about the Legos, of course, and I had I think I bought 4 sets. And there's going to be a 5th one coming. So with the DeLorean that's coming out next week, so I'm excited about that. But that really kind of passed the time by very, very quickly, and particularly also reading too and doing other things and kind of just resting in that regard. Steve, I know you and I really didn't. I guess I wouldn't say that we didn't talk all that much, but I know you were with the family and everything. Was there anything special that happened with you and the fam during that time period, or no?
Other than just having more time together was, unfortunately, my work. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, my work life didn't really change. So I was still working. I didn't get the slowdown.
I stayed working the whole time. It was just a mindset. Yeah. I was still going out every day, but it was just a mindset for me. That's what I meant by slow down.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
But we did. I was joking in pre-production. One of the good things is I improved my puzzle skills, because we did more puzzles in those first few weeks of the pandemic than I think we'd ever done
before.
Ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like you're going back to your original hobbies, like what you were doing with the kid, when you were a kid, basically.
Yeah, it was another one I just thought of.
Yeah.
Me and my wife hated going out. The mask wearing during the pandemic. So we actually have a thing that still is in today. We meet the night before grocery shopping, and we formulate our entire plan. And we are now our grocery store trips are less than 30 minutes. We are in and out. We have
zippity doo dah, and you're out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that before. We used to go when we were living in Dallas. We'd go to Kroger. It would take us 2.5 hours. We're out checking things out. But the fact that we hated being in there and hate being around people kind of taught us this zip motion where we get all we need and we're in and out. And that's
awesome.
Which spends a lot more family time.
There you go.
Good.
And then really the final thing was, and this is kind of interesting because, during the height of this pandemic, I'm not quite sure the timing was communities coming together. Now, I don't know how you did that when you were isolated, but it wasn't just in terms of the local community in which the participant was a member, but seeing communities come together all over the world. I'm guessing what they mean by that is Zoom calls, or, maybe you're trying to get together with family, maybe over a Zoom call, or you're getting together with them in person, potentially that kind of a deal.
I think when anytime you deal with loss, and this is a thing that the entire world had to deal with, because nobody was exempt from this. I think it just kind of knocked the chip off our shoulder, and the rat race slowed down a little bit. And it was hey, gotta call family, gotta, reach out the different. It was just a mindset change. Yeah. Because if this was as bad as they said it was going to be, we would have never got that opportunity. I think it taught us a really good life lesson of just slow down and enjoy it.
There you go.
No matter what it is, be you.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. So that's our happy, guys, and that is the end of our episode number 77 of Two Noobs Talking. Great to be able to talk with you as always, guys. And let's hit them up with our socials as we always do. John, where can people find us here on Two Noobs?
Well, we are starting off with Clapper because we got fans clamoring for videos.
Damn.
So can't wait for our videos.
Love
So
it.
Clapper, check us out on Clapper. Follow us on Clapper. Get us up there. Clapper even likes us. They're trying to verify us at this point, like because
there you
people
go.
like us. We're also on TikTok, which gives us very little coverage, but it's TikTok. It's cool.
Yeah.
Instagram Reels. We don't really post on Instagram, just Instagram Reels. We're on Facebook, which Steve does a great job of getting this video out, and I steal them and put them everywhere else. We also just started. Steve doesn't even know this. I started posting them on Reels, and we're getting good reaction on Facebook.
Oh, there you go.
So
interesting. Okay.
the Reels. Apparently, they like us on Reels. If it's a real kind of concept, they love it. People
There you
love
go.
it. They like us.
We're also on Twitter too, I think, right?
Yes, we are on Twitter, but
That's what I thought. Yeah.
only Steve and I like things. Maybe Tom every once in a while.
We got
Yeah,
to push that out. So yeah, that of course, we have all of those short videos that pointed to our YouTube channel, and that's of course the Two Noobs Talking Podcast. We really love it if you like, share, subscribe, and get notified whenever our new episodes drop. Of course, our entire library is there as well. On the audio side, Steve, where can people find us there?
People can find us on Podbean.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
So we post on Podbean, and then Podbean spreads us out into the world like a virus.
Yes.
So we get into Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on. We're also Googleable. You can find us with either spelling TWOTOO.
There you go. What's amazing too is like when you do that, I remember doing TW and bam, first thing pops right into us. It's crazy. It's
Googleable.
It's awesome. I just love it. Our show notes can be found at twonoobstalking.wordpress.com. All of our links to our articles, videos are posted there as well whenever we get the chance to do that. My thanks to both John and Steve for joining me. Guys, do you have anything final to say before we get the heck out of here? Or are you good?
Bye.
That episode was as good as balls. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Wait for that. That T-shirt will be launching right next to the deck wrapper.
On that note, talk to y'all guys next week. Take care.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. That's the great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be truly informed.